Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to show you my son's Volcano EPX that I made him. He's had this since he's 4. He's now 6, about to be 7 in May, so he's had it for a good bit of time. You know, in that time I've upgraded a couple parts here and there, but really only had to put front bumper, went through a few pinions and a few motors because we basically were running LiPo the whole time. So, you know, burned the motors up, taking it through certain fields and things. So eventually I went with a little bit thicker motor, went with the Titan. I think the 775, I want to say it was a 12 turn or 19 turn, but regardless, the issue was I tried to run 3S in my snow bash video, and it lasted for a run or so, but you know, eventually gave out and heated up. So we burned up the motor in this thing, and 3S is kind of where I want to be at, just after seeing this thing on 3S. So we grabbed the Titan. This is the, I think it's a 21 turn. It's the 3975, so it's a 14 volt, so it'll handle the max, you know, 12.6 that's going to be up there on a max 3S battery. So this is what we're going to pop in. The turn's a little higher for you know, what I would prefer, but it's for my, like I said, it's for my 7-year-old soon to be, and I just want to get him a little more speed, but yet keep him away from brushless just yet. So alright, guys, go ahead and get this top off and we will get cracking on this. The first time I think I've actually showed this on camera, and I had one of my videos jumping and somebody asked me about the shock layout, and I said I had them kind of like offset a little bit, but it's kind of what I mean, because I got good shock, good oil, good recoil here, bounces right back up, no issues. I've never had a problem with these shocks. Again, it's brushed, so you're not doing what you might normally do on a brushless. But I have them on the middle here in the rear, and where are they at? Oh, it's the rear that I put countered. I put them on the end here. I just wanted to have more, because it's squatted a little bit still, so I took them here, kind of widened it out to make it more of a straight up and down. But I left them on the inside here because it's the advantage of having multiple shocks. You can play around with them, so you don't have to have them any certain way. I mean, this to me, like I said, whether it's functional or not, but somebody just asked me about, I guess they saw the recoil when I was jumping around with this on one of my son's videos, but it's got some nice bounce to it. Now, there is no fun way to get into this motor. I mean, you can try to access it from the rear here. Pain in the ass. I mean, you'll wind up stripping the head of the screw eventually if you do it too often. Even if you get the ball tipped, if your screw's not perfect, you're going to wind up stripping it out. So the easiest way to do it without hassle is, it takes a little extra effort, but it's removing these 4, this one, these 4 screws, and then of course after you do that, it's just as simple as dropping off the 4 screws under the motor mount. So you take that off, it's going to be in your hand. You're going to be able to take them off a lot easier, and it's worth the extra little bit of time it takes to do it. So that's the way we're going to do it. Then pop this thing off, and we'll get this thing fired up on 3S and see what it looks like in some run videos. Hopefully my son will stop asking to drive mine, because his will be fast. So we'll see. I lucked out on this one with the amount of thread lock that I usually put on these screws for these pivot style ones. That came off without giving me any issue. Sometimes these ones will want to pivot down the bottom, and you're turning this while it's actually turning on the bottom, so you got to be careful while you're taking these 2 off to make sure that's not the case. There's the fun part, man. These are in there on that aluminum. I might have to go get my drill. Yeah, I don't want to strip that head out. It feels like I'm going to. Well, that one came off. Alright. Well, those two don't want to come off, man. That's the pain in the ass problem, man. I hate that crap, man. You got to put this stuff on with aluminum with Loctite, and then you do it, and then the shitty screws just don't always cooperate. So now I'm going to have to do more work, which is never fun. I might just see if I can get in there. Alright, so I had to go that route to get this out. That actually worked, so I'm going to avoid taking that motor mount off for this attempt, but eventually I'm going to have to cut that off. Just wasn't planning on it this time. Get a little ass grub out of there. Alright, that was the motor. This thing ain't even been in there that long, and it's already like rusted on the bottom. We did have it out in the snow, so I guess I could factor into that. Yeah, this thing wasn't in there that long, man. I think, like I said, I take the blame for that, though. Didn't realize the voltage on it. Alright, so get this cleaned up real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and put my screw back in the bottom and get this thing back together. Alright, so we're ready for this thing to go back in now. Like I said, I really don't like doing it this way. I can never get that alignment just right, and it makes everything much more tedious to get it lined up. But it is what it is. You can kind of see it. Alright, here we go. Top one's much easier. This is the one you want to leave for last so you can get your proper gear meshing. Make sure it's going in straight though too. Alright, so mine are in almost to the point where they want to be tight. I'll take my pinion and slide it back on. Alright, so that pinion should be good. Check my gear mesh. So right now I got it right where I wanted it. Just a little bit of rock, not too much. I'm going to try to tighten this down. You got to do your best. Oh, that's the bottom one. I don't know why I have two different size screws. You got to do your best to try to make sure it does not move while you're tightening it. Still got my rock. Alright, now same thing with the bottom. Damn, I might be just a little too tight. It is. Alright, so we'll go with the top one. I backed it off just a little bit. Now I got the rock, I can see it. What I mean by rock, and again, I've done the video on this, but what I mean by the rock is you can take the spur gear and move it without the pinion gear moving, or vice versa. So just a little bit of rock is where the teeth can come off, not touch, but yet be right back on and touching. It's the perfect amount of mesh gear. I do it this way. I don't use paper. I never have a problem. I don't do the paper method. It's too hard. It's too adjusted. Having it by eye and knowing what it looks like, knowing what it feels like is the key. And you know, I've been successful doing it almost every time unless I rush. So I do have some dry lube. I'm gonna spray up in this thing. I didn't do a water break-in on this, which I'm not worried about it. It's my son's truck. He'll probably keep this motor in for another couple months, and by the time he's 7 I might go brushless, so if he's ready, which he kind of is. But this is a step up. I got to do a step up. So plus I want to play with it and let other people know that this will work, because if this works on 3S, it's probably a good setup that a lot of people will want to do as well. Especially if I get some good speeds out of it in comparison, you know, maybe that like mid-level right between brushed and brushless. So alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw this back together, guys. No need to keep this on camera, and talk a little bit more once we get it back together. Alright, so I got it all together. Screws are all back in place. I never really put this cover on anyway, just because I've had to access this thing so many times. I just left it off. But everything's good. I got it on the little bench here. I'm going to test her out. I don't think it's going to be too crazy, but we'll see. Again, I can't really get it out on the grass or field until later on if I can run it today. But I am noticing his tires. I mean, I put these tires on a while ago just for fun because they look good and they matched his old body. But these probably ain't the best tires for this thing. They're really soft and the foam isn't there. I might put some destroyers on here for him and see what that does. But either way, alright, let's get this thing fired up. Just gonna do it outside the truck. And this is a stock ESC, just changed the jumper over. 3S, so it's 3S capable according to what I've read on it. So 15 kg servo, just a regular Redcat RCR remote, which is losing battery. Alright, here we go. Nice. Man. How's that tire stopping on its own? Man, that thing. Diff's fine. They got some ballooning going on there. Dare I say this is almost like a stocked brushless, but you know, I'm sure it's not as fast, but we'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to get a reading on this or not. I just want to make sure I got no grab here. The tire stopped on its own. Might be a bearing. Probably bad bearing. I'll dig this thing up and look at it later. The way he beats this thing up, man, I'm shocked this thing hasn't broke already. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for him, man. I know he wants a faster truck, so this ought to be awesome. So, guys, you know, I have the aluminum. If you see this stuff, like I have the chrome stuff, I have the blue stuff. They're the only two I really keep. You know, they're the most popular I sell. You know, if you guys want to do something like this, I also have the actual battery compartments over here that are, you know, the bigger ones, that instead of these posts for something like this, because your battery wants to slide around a little bit. So that's why I left the post on here. I had the rear one on, but I took it off, but that keeps it from sliding forward and back. But I use the wires and wrap the wires around it, and it holds it in, so it hasn't been an issue. Plus, like I said, he's not jumping 30 feet with this thing like I would, and you know, bashing it up. So alright, well, that's, like I said, that's all I got to show you guys. This is my son's Volcano EPX, chromed out, and now running 3S with a 21 turn motor. If you guys have, 21, 25? I don't fucking know, one of them. Whatever I said in the beginning. Alright, and that's pretty much it, man. I showed you what I wanted to show you. This is my son's chromed out Volcano EPX. I do sell all the aluminum. I sell the blue aluminum and the chrome. They're the most two popular sets. But I sell everything, the top plate, the drive shafts and everything for the chrome. So if you want to change it over, the only thing that isn't included in the kits are the hinge pin holders down here that would be the same color whatever your vehicle was. Or you can do like I did on this, and that's kind of sanded this down. This was purple, and I couldn't find it at the time, so I went ahead and sanded that down, that and the drive shaft. So you can do that if you want as well for some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I don't think would look good, like the chassis and all, if you did it that way. But after I test it and get everything done, just give you a heads up, I will have the motors. They're not a high ticket item, so I'm probably not going to sell them straight up. A lot of my people, if you want to contact me personally, I'll be able to do like an add-on, like I say, hey man, give me the shock towers and, you know, the motor. I'm going to upgrade the motor. Or hey, I need a 15K servo for mine. and, you know, a motor, something that's going to help on the shipping, because just those motors don't have a high markup. Nothing from Traxxas has a high markup value, especially not selling it online. So I got to kind of, you know, make sure I cover myself. But you won't see it on the website. I will have it. The numbers on the website. All the links are in the description of all my videos. So if you guys don't, you know how to get a hold of me, just go down the link right there and click the website, and that'll get you to my website where you can get my phone number off of that as well. Alright guys, again, if you have any questions, hit me up, leave me a comment. Thanks.